Hey everybody, how's it going? Light Butter here. Welcome back to another Division video. Today we're going to be doing more PvP in the Last Stand game mode. If you don't know what the Last Stand game mode is, it is the game mode that is going to be released with the Last Stand DLC, probably sometime at the end of February or early March, depending on how well the PTS goes. And boy, has there been some backlash about the PTS. And I want to give my opinions out there and kind of let you guys know what's going on within the community. There's kind of this big controversy going on because honestly, there are way more things broken with this PTS than I think there has ever been in the division. Now, I know 1.3 and whatnot, but it seems like that this patch has spiked so many problems, like things that didn't used to be OP that are OP now, things that used to be decent that are now bad, and it's just like the balance is all over the place. And I want to give my opinions about it and talk to you guys a little bit about what I think and what I think might help this balance problem that's going on. So I think one of the big problems is that Red Storm is trying to do gear normalization, which, if you don't know, basically it would take your gear and give you similar stats. So even if you're a skill power build or a firearms build or a stamina build, you're gonna have similar attributes while playing in this game mode, so that time to kills aren't drastically different, and they don't want people to go in with a build that may not be well optimized and not be able to kill anybody. They don't want it to be like it is in the Dark Zone. But the big issue here is that I don't know if it was a math error or if it's done intentionally, but it seems like they've set everyone's mitigation to 70%. I'm assuming it has something to do with maybe the time to kills being a little bit too fast, or it's just maybe just a math error. I have no idea. But there was a small bug where when you went into the underground, you could see what your actual last stand stats were going to be put to. And I noticed that I had like 600k toughness, even though I really only had like 290k. And I think this tankiness with the mitigation is a huge reason why we're seeing so many imbalances and so many frustrating things going on in the Last Stand game mode. I mean, the whole reason for us removing armor in the first place was because of how frustrating mitigation was. The time to kills are so far off, it just doesn't seem like it's anywhere close to where it should be. When I do a huge, DPS build, I don't feel that damage spike that I would usually feel if I were to, bring a DPS build in the Dark Zone. And it's understandable with the, the normalization and all that stuff, but it makes things like that I really enjoy in PvE. For example, the Historian. Like, I absolutely loved using the Historian in PvE. It was a lot of fun, and it was nice to see one of the M1A variant weapons actually being used for once, ever since, it got nerfed back in, I think, 1.3. It really hasn't been used at all. Or was it 1. I think it was 1.4. The M1A has just been so weak since then, and but the problem is that people are abusing it so hard in this game mode, because what they're doing is, like, currently electronics or skill power is like king right now. You can get so much skill power on your gear pieces, and you can get so many electronics on your build and still be tanky because of the fact that there is no trade-off currently, because everyone's getting put to extreme toughness. What that's allowing people to do is it's allowing people to run with the glass like electronics builds, like just straight up skill power builds, but also be super tanky. So you probably notice a lot in this video where you got skill power players that are, dropping seeker mines or whatever, and, they should be going down instantly. I'm running a DPS build here. I'm running Alpha Bridge, which is the highest damage build in the game as far as I know. I've tested out Predator's Mark, but nothing comes even close to Alpha Bridge. And I'm also running Assault Rifles, which are the premium weapon in the game. I should be putting these skill power players down in about half a second. But what's happening is it's kind of like the Tanktician meta all over again, because of the mitigation that they're receiving from the normalized gear, plus the amount of skill power and skill haste that they have on their gear. You know, you can get a stupid amount of skill haste, a stupid amount of skill power, and it ends up that like people have their smart cover up every 5 seconds, and they have their seeker mines up every 5 seconds. So it's kind of making the game mode really spammy. You're constantly seeing seeker mines rolled around. I'm actually using seeker mines in this video because I honestly couldn't take it anymore. I was using pulse, and I was just constantly getting destroyed by seeker mines, because you got to think about it like this. You have a skill that that automatically locks on to players and it goes towards them, but there's no type of, like, you know, animation or drawbacks like there is with something like a sticky bomb. I personally think that the sticky bomb needs to be buffed now. I think the sticky bomb is way weaker than it should be. The fact that you actually have to take the sticky bomb gun out, shoot it at the ground, and then detonate it on your own, I think that is, you know, I think there needs to be more benefits to using that. You're not seeing anyone using sticky bomb at all. So I really think they need to, like, kind of, and this is coming from somebody who hates one-shot sticky bomb builds, but essentially the seeker mines are even worse than that, because when you're using cluster, they basically do the same thing that sticky bombs do, except that they automatically lock onto you and you can hit multiple enemies at once. I would really like to see the time reduced on the, you know, the delay that they added to the sticky bomb. I think sticky bombs should be usable, which right now they're not. Obviously, we don't like the one-shot sticky bombs where there is no counter to it, but if there's a second delay or a half a second delay, there is time to roll out of that area. And I think that if somebody, you know, specs very heavily in the skill power, or maybe it reduces the amount of time that the sticky bomb takes to go off or something. I don't know, but the sticky bombs are completely irrelevant right now. And, you know, everyone is just kind of spamming seeker mines just because of the fact that there's no drawbacks. You know, you can basically put a seeker mine down, and then you can just start shooting somebody, and then you're already ready to hit them when they're staggered. Whereas when you're shooting a sticky bomb, you actually have to shoot the sticky bomb, then you have to switch back to your weapon, and by the time you get back to your weapon, the stagger's almost over for them. So it's more of like a team-oriented skill, which I like. I really like team-oriented skills. I think the med boxes are in a really good place right now. Even the turrets, like, it seems like the flame turrets have been doing a lot of damage. I'm not sure, but I really don't mind that, honestly, because I can usually counter it a lot just by running around something, or, you know, throwing an EMP grenade at it or whatever. But currently, when you're going against an entire team using cluster bombs, there's nothing really you can do. It's just, I mean, I saw some people saying, oh, you can use the EMP sticky bomb to counter it. That's actually not true at all. You're not going to be able to use an EMP sticky bomb to counter seeker mines, because even if you hit the seeker mines, which, by the way, the EMP sticky bomb has a delay now, you basically have to, like, lead it, and then you have to hit it, and then on top of that, you have to shoot the seeker mines after. It doesn't even destroy them, it just disables them for a short amount of time. So by the time you do that, the person who used the seeker mine basically got all the value out of it that he needed, because now he can just shoot you while you're distracted trying to shoot the seeker mines. And shooting the clusters are so difficult, because I can't tell you how many times I've seen clusters coming from a mile away, and I'm shooting, and I destroy all of them, and then that one little seeker mine gets through and staggers me, and I'm slowed, and you know, it's unbelievable. It's so frustrating. However, I do not think that the seeker mines should be nerfed so hard into the ground that they're an unusable skill, because I like seeing people use different skills. That's why 1.4, I think, was my favorite time in this game's lifespan, because for the first time almost ever, I saw people using every single skill in the game, and it was awesome, and I want to go back to that. And I've been seeing a lot of people use shields. I've been seeing people use try to use other stuff as well. Smart cover's super strong right now. I think that needs to be toned down a bit. It kind of scales out of control currently. You can get up near like 80% damage resilience, which is way too much. I mean, you can see this guy that we're throwing nades at here. He literally sponged like 4 or 5 grenades. I don't think that should be the case, but I think once we get all of these balancing things fixed, I think that this game mode is going to be super fun, and I think the Dark Zone's also going to be a great time as well. But we need a huge SMG buff. I can't tell you guys how many times in this PTS I've tried using SMGs, and no matter what, like I had, I was tweeting about it the other night, and I had some people telling me, oh, you're just not using the right build. If you build properly, the SMGs are good, and people are saying SMGs are back. No, SMGs aren't back. They're actually taking a further backseat than they ever have. I think every weapon in the game is going to do better for you than SMGs are. Now, you would think that SMGs would do a little bit better because of the fact of the armor being toned down, but at least in this game mode currently with the 70% mitigation, I mean, that would make a little bit of sense there why the SMGs are so weak. But I really want to see the SMGs go back to crit chance instead of crit damage. I've been saying this time in and time again. It is much easier to get crit damage on your gear than it is to get crit chance. You can only get crit chance in so many different spots on your gear, and what happens is you basically have to build as much crit chance as you possibly can on your SMGs, and then you're only left with like 100% crit damage, and 100% crit damage on SMGs, since they have such low base damage, is practically nothing. And also the fact that they have such small optimal range. Like I actually I posted 2 clips to Twitter yesterday. One of them was when I went up against an assault rifle. He basically rushed me. I hit him with my entire mag of MP5 close range, and he didn't go down. He actually killed me. Same thing with a person who was running the historian. Ran right up in my face, directly at me, and I just peppered him with an entire mag of MP5, and nothing happened. So it's pretty obvious that the SMGs overall need a massive buff. I wouldn't even mind seeing the LMGs buffed a little bit too. This is all PvP, by the way. I think that LMGs are just fine in PvE, but for PvP, we definitely need to see some small tweaks to the LMGs, because no one's using LMGs currently, and if you are using an LMG, you're basically just accepting the fact that you're going to be a little bit weaker than everyone else who's using assault rifles. So I think assault rifles are in a really good place right now. I think they're good. I think they're balanced, but I think the other weapon types need to be brought up to par, like SMGs and shotguns especially. Like I know people like hate shotguns because of all the shit that console players and even us PC players went through in 1.3 and 1.4, and I get that, but shotguns still need to be viable like weapons to use. Right now they're just not at all. They're terrible, and I don't want to see I don't want to go back to the one-shotting M870 at all. I don't want that. But right now, like, it seems like assault rifles and people who have Provident on their snipers, their legacy snipers, are the only things that you're seeing in the Dark Zone. So I would definitely like to see some more variety in the weapons that people are using. So we need to bring all those other weapon types up. We need to kind of tone down some of the skills that are a little bit too much, or just skill power overall. Maybe skill power just scales a little bit too well with all, with all the skills right now, because it seems like ever since they did that change to electronics, where electronics doesn't have a cap anymore, I don't understand. And also, like, I mentioned this a little bit earlier in the video, but I think another huge factor that's kind of, adding to all this entire problem is the fact that you can get such a large amount of skill power on your gear. I think you can get like 13,000 skill power on your backpack or something like that, and it's just insane. Right now, I mean, what are you going to take? You're going to take 13,000 skill power, or you're going to take like 9,000 health or something like that. I don't really know what the numbers are offhand, but it seems like there's just way too much value in getting skill power. And see, the thing is I want skill power builds to be there. I think it's good. But I want them to be support builds. I don't want them to be, builds where people use them for themselves and themselves only, and they can make themselves pretty much invulnerable. Another huge problem that I've been seeing, which I thought was super strange, but I think this could be because of the mitigation thing that's going on. Nimble is absolutely busted right now, because I think what's happening is, if you don't know what Nimble is, basically when you run cover to cover, I'm pretty sure you take less damage, and all the damage that you take, you heal for when you end your cover to cover run. So I actually came up against a player who was super tanky, and he was running final measure, and he was just in the back by their base just farming NPCs the entire time for his team, which is awesome. Like, I love that there are people taking those roles. But the fact is that I couldn't do enough damage to this guy to put him down, and I couldn't throw grenades at him because he had final measure. So literally, like, there was nothing I could do. He was basically just running from wall to wall, zigzagging down this entire street while I just peppered him in the back with magazines and magazines of assault rifle, and I couldn't do anything about it. Now, I think a lot of that has to do with putting everyone at 70% mitigation, because if you think about it, if you're putting everyone at 70% mitigation, they're consuming more bullets, hence healing for more and allowing them to do that. The idea is, when somebody's using Nimble, is to put them down before they finish their run, that way they don't get the heal. But yeah, that was just, I thought that was kind of crazy. But like I said, I think that has a lot to do with the mitigation stuff. So I just really want to see a better time to kill, or a more, I don't want to say more consistent, because the time to kill, it seems now, as far as like bullets goes, is really consistent. But what isn't consistent is the fact that you can get hit with cluster nades and just get absolutely destroyed in like 3 seconds. Another thing is, like I said about the flame turrets, it seems like all the skills are just doing a ton of damage. And I'm not sure if that has to do with the way the scaling works, but I'm assuming any type of skill, including the historian, like the historian, when people spam you with it, it just does so much damage. I think it's because that, you know, that extra like damage isn't considered, you know, bullet damage, so it's bypassing that 70% mitigation that we got. But I just wanted to share this with you guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you had a chance to play Last Stand at all, what do you guys think? I think that they have a lot of work to do. Massive and Red Storm have a lot of work to do over these next 2 weeks. Hopefully we get 4 weeks of the PTS, because I will tell you that this version of the build is nowhere even close to being finished. So I'm really hoping for some future updates to kind of, you know, bring a lot more consistency to the game. But overall, I'm still enjoying it. Let me know what you guys think as well. It kind of sucks that I felt like I needed to put, you know, cluster mines on just to, you know, give myself a chance. But I had some really good gunfights in here, and I'm really starting to like the not being able to run while reloading, and also the really poor hip fire accuracy. It's starting to grow on me, man, because you're starting to get those like gunfights where people are actually aiming, and it kind of promotes that accuracy, where if, you know, you're going up against another player and you're hitting all headshots and he's not, usually you're going to win that battle. So that is if you're not using an SMG. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to drop the video a like, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Take care, everybody.